Assalamu alaikum, I'm Zaki Bika and you with us in the lab empowering, inspiring and informing our viewers. It's great to be here every week discussing important topics. However, the sad and difficult ones also need to be addressed. And one such topic is female abuse, woman abuse. So what actually is woman abuse? Any form of physical, psychological, emotional and financial force used against a woman to humiliate her, isolate her and intimidate her to such an extent that she feels powerless, hopeless and helpless. With us in studio today is Hafsa Karam, mom of 3, attorney and community activist. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Hafsa.
for having us.
And Rishina Budu, Gauteng chapter head for Turning Point Global and a financial planning coach. Thank you for joining us, Rishina.
Thank you for having me.
It's only a pleasure. So, Rishina, tell us, how is physical abuse used as a form of control?
So, I think that men, they prey on the insecurities of women.
Okay.
So, they know that you have certain needs. So my belief is that they would stalk you well before they come to you. So I'm talking about new relationships or existing relationships, be it marriage or partnerships. So what tends to happen is that social media makes it so much easier for them to have access as well, which is horrible, but a necessary evil, I suppose. So what they do is they know you have certain needs, and if they can provide those needs to you, us women, we're soft, right? Mm-hmm. We gravitate towards somebody being able to assist us along the way because we know we were not meant to be on our own. We're meant to have a helper and be a helper as well. So they look for those things that you need, and then you know that you're going to take it because you need it. And then they control you with it. The control is based on you wanting to be, maybe it's financial emancipation, right? Especially women who have kids. Mm-hmm. You'll find that you know that you can't do this alone in most cases, right? Some women are quite, in good financial positions to be able to say, I don't actually need your financial assistance. But there are so many women who don't. In fact, the majority don't have it.
Yes.
So when a man comes along and says, I can do this for you, I'll be a father to your children, I'll be a husband to you or a partner to you, I'll give you this, that and the other, the normal reaction is to say, thank you. Thank you, Lord. I think you've just answered my prayer. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, they come in and they know that they can control you. So they use those things as finances. It's also self-esteem. If a woman doesn't have self-esteem, right, high self-esteem, what tends to happen is that he's making you feel beautiful. He's making you feel worthy. And they will tell you all the right things you want to hear. You lap it up, and the next thing you know, in fact, before you know it, sometimes you don't even know it, and you're already being controlled. So they use all those different things, and they may even befriend your children, and you think, oh, thank you, take them off my hands, help me to co-parent, and the next thing you know, it's being a control mechanism.
Okay. Hafsa, Rishina touched on the emotional part of it. When does it go from emotional to physical abuse, and how is physical abuse used as a form of control?
Well, I think when you talk of physical abuse, it's somebody who not only abuses you in terms of your body, but also just frightens you.
Yes.
So it's fear. They set you up in such a way that you are fearful and you anticipate what's going to happen, and that's how they control you then.
Okay, so physical abuse is damage against property, your belongings, your items. Is that
and you as a person?
Yes, like breaking doors,
just smashing a door right next to you.
Yes.
To show you that if I can do this to the door, I will do it to you as well. That's
okay.
Sufficient.
So how do, I mean, we've heard stories where women stay in this, that's terrifying, breaking a door or smashing a door right in front of you. What possesses a woman to stay in a relationship like that?
Fear. I think very often women stay in abusive relationships because they're scared, but also they're embarrassed. They don't want everybody else to know what they're going through. They feel humiliated, they feel helpless, and very often they're in a comfort zone. So they just justify the relationship, they justify the behavior by thinking, you know what, it's not so bad, it can be worse out there. Or as Regina said, they make you so helpless that you become totally dependent on them. You can't do anything without them, and you feel that I'd rather, stick it out than to go out on my own.
The Laudium Women's Network is a women's group comprising various cross-cultural, interfaith and multiracial community-based organizations. The LWN's aim is to support, uplift and help the community within Laudium and surrounding areas by sharing their expertise and drawing on the strengths of the women in the community.
Okay, Regina, besides this making you feel good and helping with your kids and that sort of, and financial help, how else do they emotionally abuse you?
You know, they, just to add to what Hafsa is saying, they can see your fear. And if you do not react in a manner to say, stop, I don't like what you're doing, or I don't feel, it makes me feel unhappy. But what you're doing makes me feel unhappy. If you don't do that, then they will keep doing it. It's called boundaries, right? If you don't put up those boundaries, you will find that they will keep doing it to you. And the irony of all, Zakira, is that these people are very insecure themselves. They are so insecure. So if you have the bravado to be able to say no and push back, you'll probably find that once you start to say no, they'll stop doing it because they know the repercussions of not doing it. But the other thing, I think, if I could just add on, women should never undermine the power of a protection order. Do you know, when you don't have your parents around, you don't have your family around, you don't have your friends around you, you don't have anyone around you that can actually come to your rescue. You know, I can use my own example of having been in an abusive relationship. Nothing helped me. I was in it for 13 years and nothing helped me. But when I got that protection order, I was the first person in East London to exercise it when it became law. And I went into the police station and said to them, listen, this is what's going on. And they said, oh, we've just been on training. And they didn't know what to do. And I said, I'm going to tell you what to do, right? Because I'd researched it. And I made them execute the law upon the man. And he went into prison for 4 months because I refused to allow it to happen. So the message I want to say is women need to understand the power of the protection order, because the protection order gave him so much of fear, he never did it again. Apart from the fact that he was in prison and couldn't do anything. But at the same time, even afterwards, he began to show he started becoming fearful. And he started to be careful how he spoke to me, because we have children together.
Yes.
He's passed on. And we had to engage, we had to talk about the children. So he knew that he had to watch his behavior.
Yes.
Because the prison was not the best place to be.
Okay,
You know?
that sounds like a success story.
It is.
Hafsa, being an attorney, I find, or from movies or, listening to people's stories, that there's a lot of red tape to go and stand at the police station, stand in the courts, and stand and if you've lost contact with friends or family, you don't have your parents or whoever's support, there's a lot of red tape. Are women actually doing that? Regina's is a success story. She went and told them this, because a lot of people say if you go to the police station, they don't want to help you. You have to have physical proof, you need to have this, you need to have that. Are women taking steps?
Well, it's the truth. Our system doesn't support women. So it does happen when they go to the police station. They get told, it's not so serious, or,
Yes.
you're wasting our time, or go and find something else to do, or things like that. So it's unfortunate. But you can get a protection order, and that you don't even have to go to the police. You can go straight to court and apply for it.
Okay.
And that they have a dedicated office for peace orders.
Okay, so quickly, in like a sentence, tell the viewers how do they go around getting a protection order.
Well, if you are fearful of your life or your children, your family, then all you need to do is go to the police, not to the police, go to court, and go and tell them at the peace office, this is your problem. You're facing this fear, and they'll give you an order. You go to the police station, and they're forced to go with you to go deliver it, and then he's not allowed to be anywhere near you.
Okay.
And if he does come near you, you phone the police, and then he's infringed his order, and they'll pick him up.
Wow, that's excellent advice. Reshina, what I wanted to know is, does this abuse happen, do you say, or could you say, to weak personalities, women with weak personalities, or because you'd say a strong woman wouldn't go through this?
I'm going to play devil's advocate here, because what's the definition of weak and what's the definition of strong?
Okay.
Because being weak, let's look at us women, right? We're born nurturers. Our faith and all faiths teach you about the importance of a family.
Yes.
So that's what we raised. Whether you're raised to be emancipated financially or career-wise, whatever. Ultimately, women want to have a family and have a family unit, because that's what makes communities. So if that's where you come from, and you find yourself in a position where either you didn't get married, but you're in a relationship, a common law relationship, or whatever the case is, how does one define weakness? Loving someone? Caring for someone? Is that weakness?
Yes.
Is weakness wanting to have something with someone? It's not a weakness. So I can't say it's a weak woman that actually allows us, because then we're saying that everyone who loves is weak.
And love is a
weakness.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't think it's weak women. I think that there's certain attributes that causes you to be drawn into it, or to attract somebody who sees us or wants to use and control you.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
The Laudium Women's Network is a women's group comprising various cross-cultural, interfaith and multiracial community-based organizations. The LWN's aim is to support, uplift and help the community within Laudium and surrounding areas by sharing their expertise and drawing on the strengths of the women in the community.
Hafsa, what is financial abuse against a woman? Does it mean you have to be begging or living in poverty to be recognized?
Not at all. You can actually be a very independent woman and be completely abused financially, where your husband takes complete control of your finances. You're not allowed to spend your own money.
Is that your money that you're earning, or is that...
Yes.
Okay.
Your money.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying, even if you don't have to be poor, you don't have to be indigent and unemployed.
Yes.
You can be an independent woman earning your own money, but your husband controls how you spend it. He has full control of who you give it to. He goes through your bank statements. He checks on everything.
Okay.
So you then are just a victim. And just to latch on to your previous question, you can be strong and you can still be in an abusive relationship.
Yes.
Because what happens is that an abuser, he identifies his prey, and then he finds his prey, and then he abuses them in whatever way. And it will start with emotional abuse. It's not something that happens, they won't just say one day, oh, I'm going to start abusing you. It's a gradual thing. So they first get their prey, so they'll lay down the honey, and after that's done, then they start. It'll be simple things like, oh, I'm so sad, don't leave me, don't go.
Yes.
Or stopping your family from coming. Oh, I'm so tired, don't let them come. Or your friends are but noisy. Oh, don't go with your friends today. And you think, oh, shame, he
Yes.
wants me to be around him. And that's how he gradually builds on it. And it becomes like this where financially you feel sorry for him and you think, shame. He's not earning enough. Let me help him. Let me build his business. Let me give him. And then lo and behold, here you are feeding him and building his empire while you are depleting your resources and left with nothing. So financially you've been abused, or if for instance you are in a situation where you're financially able, but then they'll sabotage your finances.
Okay.
Where they will purposefully go through a system where they will hinder your progress. So if you are in a deal here, they will make sure that they slip in something sideways that won't make it successful.
Oh my gosh.
And you won't even recognize
And you won't
it.
realize it. Okay, so that's now if you're earning your own money. What about people that are not earning their own money and are dependent on him, and he's using all his money for himself or his family? Is that financial abuse?
Oh yes, definitely. I think it's, unfortunately, most men are obviously aware of their responsibilities and know that when they take on a woman, it is that they are now assuming the responsibility that her father had.
Yes.
He supported her, he looked after her, and that is what he's supposed to do. But there are many abusers out there who don't see that as a responsibility. They actually see it as an opportunity to control somebody, to now make her dependent and totally.
It's unfortunately very sad. Reshina, final words of empowerment to abuse victims.
I belong to an organization called Turning Point, may I mention?
Yes.
All right. Turning Point is actually quite lovely, right? It's taught so much to so many women because we like to say unapologetic about who you are, unashamed of the abuse that you've gone through. And you are in your brokenness because of something someone else did to you. Why should you remain in there? Because these women are so powerful and they come from all walks of life. They bring their skills and they volunteer it to Turning Point. So what I'm saying to abused or women who have suffered abuse, understand you did not do that to yourself. You didn't do it yourself. So why are you taking responsibility to actually stay in your brokenness? You need to pull yourself out with the support of others who talk about it unashamedly. So you need to talk. And, I came to a aha moment. I kept quiet for a long time. And people would go, who does she think she is? Because I would talk as a financial advisor on many aspects until I decided, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. And I started talking about it. So women need to talk. You don't have to talk on public platforms.
Yes.
Talk to other sisters of all races, all denominations who relate to you, and it just becomes a healing process and you gain your strength step by step.
Thank you so much. Hafsa, final words to empower victims out there.
What you should do is you should actually journal your incidences when you start feeling uncomfortable, when you start realizing that this is not the norm, when you see that your friends are going out as a group and you're not allowed to so start journaling these things, because what tends to happen with us as women is we forget.
Yes.
The minute you're in your honeymoon phase,
Yes.
you forget all the bad that happened.
Yes.
So you need to start journaling and you need to start talking. As Reshina said, you must talk about it. Nobody can help you. If you're quiet, they won't even know.
Absolutely.
And on top of it, if you don't talk about it and you're experiencing it, and even though they know it, they're going to feel that she doesn't want us to interfere, so let us rather leave it be, So it's important that you talk about it.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's sad but unfortunately prevalent and occurs in all backgrounds or all homes of different socio-economic groups, cultural backgrounds, educational backgrounds. I end off today's episode with a really powerful quote. A house where a woman is unsafe will never ever be a home. Catch us next week on Lojim Today for another great episode. Assalamu alaikum.
You can watch our episodes on YouTube and subscribe to our profile. Also, stay in touch on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, and we'll keep you up to speed with topics coming up next week. Don't miss an episode.